This is Channel's latest bracelet design, right? It's a limited edition. I wasn't able to get my hands on one. Tianhao wasn't familiar with Madame Xu, and she didn't like having such close interaction, but out of courtesy, she didn't just pull back her hand and kept a slight smile. Initially, when I saw a photo of the bracelet, I found it mesmerizing. Now that I have seen the real thing, I'm impressed. But your milky white skin is much nicer than mine, Madame Lin praised. She did so for some time before releasing her arm, turning to glance at Han Rushu. Han Rushu returned Madame Lin's glance, looking for a few seconds, then lowered her lids to take another sip of the flower tea. Slowly, she placed the tea on the table and spoke to Tianhao in a warm voice. Kiao, didn't you say you want to visit Kiao Mansion? I'll get Auntie An to prepare some tonics for you to bring along. Tianhao instantly understood that Han Rushu wanted to speak to Madame Lin in private, hence she started to politely bid them farewell and left the Xu Mansion with the gifts. After sending Tianhao off, the stewardess came back to inform Han Rushu, Mrs. Xu, Miss Anhao has left. Han Rushu nodded, looking slightly at the surrounding maids. The stewardess understood instantly, sending them all out of the house. Han Rushu then asked Madame Lin, Sister Lin, how is it? Rushu, I felt her pulse just now and she's definitely pregnant. But since I took quite some time, she seemed to have realized, so I couldn't find out exactly when she got pregnant. But I do know that it's at least 2 months old. Madame Lin paused before asking again, isn't it a joyous thing? Why aren't you excited? Han Rushu remained calm, a graceful smile plastered on her face as she took a slow sip of the flower tea. She raised her lids, replying, Sister Lin, pretend nothing happened. Madame Lin could see the sharpness in Han Rushu's eyes, and so she suppressed the inner curiosity and nodded. Sure, I'll pretend I know nothing. Han Rushu smiled again, signaling for Madame Lin to drink her tea. Madame Lin's Chinese hospital had something on in the afternoon, so she bade farewell soon after. Han Rushu stood at the door. When Madame Lin drove off, she turned to enter the house. She walked straight up to the second floor, the stewardess following behind her. The woman closed the door and stood beside Han Rushu. In a low voice, she asked, Mrs. Xu, is Miss Anhao really pregnant? In front of Madame Lin, Han Rushu was graceful and calm, but she turned solemn instantly after, replying to the stewardess with a yay. Who's the father of her child? Once the stewardess asked the question, her expression dimmed. Do you think it belongs to Lu Jinyan? Han Rushu remained silent, her face darkening. After a long while, the stewardess asked, Mrs. Xu, what do you intend to do? Are you going to let her give birth to the child? Han Rushu's heart clenched. She waved the stewardess away in irritation. Go out first, I need to think.